So I finally moved back home from college, got everything unpacked, got all set up, and I'm good to make videos again every now and again. We'll see how it goes. But basically, what I'm talking about in this video is something that Mr. Repzion talked about recently, actually, and it has to do with rape culture. And Mr. Repzion goes through this video where he talks about another video that he made where he disagrees with himself back then because he used to believe in rape culture, now he doesn't. And then he actually talked about this video that he linked in the description that was a phenomenal display of this whole issue of rape culture. And the video is just of this woman who doesn't believe in rape culture. Well, rape culture doesn't actually exist, but she goes to a feminist rally. I think it's called the Slut Walk. And she holds up a sign and interviews some people to get their opinion on it. And she is absolutely hated on. But the points that these people bring up against her don't make any sense. And so here's my thoughts. So the first problem is we got to define what rape culture actually is. Rape culture is simply a culture that supports, promotes, or allows rape. Well, something in general, but rape culture would be... it allows, supports rape, which exists. There are countries in the East, in Africa and such, where rape is allowed. Not necessarily promoted, but it is allowed. But that doesn't exist here in the West. In the U.S., rape is looked down on. Rape is persecuted to the full extent of the law, except for in cases where there is no evidence. And yes, there needs to be evidence for rape. There have been false claims before, and if we just take women on their word, then anything can happen. But women do not face a rape culture in the U.S., in the West, in U.S., Canada, anything like that, because it just doesn't exist. And this is something, the problem lies in the fact that feminists are trying to redefine what rape culture is. Not only rape culture, but also rape itself. They're trying to define rape as catcalling, as simply looking at someone wrong, and this is the ironic part, as withdrawing consent afterwards. This is where my problem seriously lies. So, first I'm going to explain something that happened in the video that Mr. Repzion linked that was perfect, a perfect example of this as to why so many rapes are not looked into because they're not actually rapes. Basically, these two couple women, I'm not sure which ones it was exactly, but they were interviewed by this woman at the Slut Walk, and they gave full consent to her for the interview, and they had consent because there is a public place, and so they personally gave consent to this woman to do this interview. So she did the interview, and then later another woman came up and was like, those women want to withdraw their consent. Afterwards, they don't want anything to do with it. You're not allowed to post that video. And the woman made a perfect point that this is exactly what they're trying to say happens with sex. They're trying to define sex as if you give consent and then wish you hadn't afterwards, that it's somehow rape, which is not the case at all. Is that bad? Yeah, but there's no way you can prosecute that or persecute that. I don't know, one of the two. I get those two mixed up. But there's no way that you can define rape that way, because any woman who ever regrets sex afterwards is going to claim that the man raped her. Well, also, what if it's a two-way street? What if, for example, a guy who's in a relationship cheats on his girlfriend or wife with another woman and afterwards regrets it? Can he withdraw his consent, claim she raped him, and then therefore he didn't actually cheat? This is a two-way street. Now, the thing that pisses me off about all of this is the fact that feminists are trying to redefine rape in a way that is beyond offensive to those who are victims of true, actual rape. Sexual assault without consent with sexual penetration, or I don't know what you'd call it if a guy was raped. I guess it could be penetration too, but they're trying to redefine it. And it was perfect because one of the comments in Mr. Repzion's video was just that it was someone who was a victim of rape. And it just disgusts them to see feminists do this, because there is no equation between a woman who consents to having sex, has sex, regrets it afterwards, and then that's somehow equivalent to a woman being drunk and forced and held down while she's fucked by 3 different guys in the ass without any consent, and she has no control. She's wishing it to all be done. She's saying no. Those are somehow equivalent. No. The one woman who was held down and raped, that is actual rape. That is rape that needs to be, those guys need to be punished to the full extent of the law, thrown in prison for the rest of their lives. That woman needs some sort of reimbursement in some way, shape, or form. She'll probably need therapy for the rest of her life. That is rape. Just because you gave consent to someone and then later regretted it does not mean you were raped. You gave consent. You admitted to and gave full consent to an action that you later regretted. It is your fault, not the guy's fault. What is the guy supposed to do? Somehow make sex non-regrettable. Well, what if your regret stems from something else, like the story I gave where someone's cheating? Well, you regret it no matter what they do. So basically, any guy is at risk of raping someone just by having consensual sex with them. Rape culture does not exist in the West. Not one bit, never has, never will. Well, I can't say it never will. If we regress to a third world country, it might. But as of now, there is no rape culture. Yes, rapes happen, but a rape culture is a culture that supports, promotes, or allows rape. And that is not what the U.S. does. With all these programs that are against rape, about preventing rape, there's no way you can say that. And it's just disgusting. And listening to the video that was linked where this lady was interviewing these feminists, it's just disgusting what they're trying to define as rape. They're basically, they're putting their bodies on a pedestal and stating that their bodies deserve to be treated way above everything else, and that if anyone touches it in a wrong way, even if they have consent, then they need to go to prison for the rest of their lives. They're basically putting women on a pedestal of rights. Basically that women should have this unlimited right to basically say that a man raped her, which is very wrong. Because yes, I know that there are mostly cases where women are truly raped, and very few cases where it's false. But even with that small percentage, you need a burden of proof. The burden of proof needs to be placed on the person who is accusing someone else of rape. It should not be on the person who supposedly committed the rape, and there is no way at all they should have to automatically be put in jail because someone said they raped them, and that's it. That's just fucked up. I would, if that was put in place, I would never have sex ever again, because there is no way for me to be safe while having sex. If any woman I have sex with who could be mentally unstable due to something that happened in her past or something along those lines, there's no way I can determine that she's going to not regret having sex after. And even more than that, doesn't even have to be regret. All it has to be is that she feels that she needs to seek revenge on me for something I did somehow. I did something she didn't like during sex. I wasn't satisfying to her, or something along those lines. Or even worse, I have sex with a girl, and then a couple months down the road, we break up, and she's like, "Oh, well, he raped me." That way, she gets revenge on me for breaking up with her or whatever. It gives way too much power to women that they shouldn't have. No gender should have that much power in their hands. If men had the unlimited right to accuse women of a crime that puts them in jail for the rest of their, usually for the rest of their lives, there's no way that would be allowed in Congress, or that would be allowed in law at all. There's no way people would approve of that whatsoever, yet it's okay to do it the other way around. Now, I am an egalitarian, so I think the genders should be equal. Any law that should be passed in this sense should be passed for equality. So basically, if women can accuse men of rape with unlimited power, then therefore it should be the other way around. In which case, probably within a couple of years, 90% of our population would be behind bars, and the other 10% would be struggling to survive.